What's up, guys? Another episode. And as you can tell, it's kind of Christmas themey now. We designed our office manager, Sue. She designed the office with a lot of trees and
I love it.
yeah.
Christmas is my favorite time of the year.
Yeah, I love it.
You like Christmas?
I like Christmas.
I just feel so jolly all the time.
And I love Christmas in California because you can actually golf.
Yeah. Sorry for all the East Coast, but California Christmas is the best.
So I have a buddy who lives in Minnesota. He's a member at Hazeltine. And I'm like, bro, that's probably a really sweet course. And they have a lot of amateur and professional tournaments there for USGA qualifiers and stuff. He's like, yeah, it's great. But like the golf course is closed 6 months out of the year because of the snow.
You only can play 6 months.
And you still have to pay your dues.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. And I get mad, or my wife gets mad when we can't play golf for 1 week because they had to close it for maintenance.
Oh, yeah, like little
we should get a refund. Then you're like,
how much is the Hazeltine membership, you think?
I never even asked, but it's probably like 60 or 7, no, maybe 120,000
a year
for initiation.
Okay.
And then it's probably around 2,500 a month.
That 2,500 is, that's 30K a year.
Yeah.
That's not light,
It's not light, but I think that's the culture of golf, though, right?
Yeah.
So when we talk about culture, we talk about the old, rich, elite, white people country club shit, right? Mm-hmm. And you got to pay initiation, you got to pay monthly dues, you got to pay cart fees, it adds up, and you're like, okay, you're keeping the poor people out. These days, it's a little different. There's a lot more public courses, right? Mm-hmm. So younger people are getting in. Tiger Woods comes on, USGA, the PGA. They try to like open it up more, and I think they've done a really good job. And then COVID hits, and the COVID was the best thing for golf ever. Yeah, right.
Exactly. You know what's crazy about Riv is I know a guy. He's a Japanese member. He lives in Japan, and he's a member at Riv.
Okay.
And he plays once a year.
That's
and he's
it?
a member at Riv. And I'm like, hey man, like, why do you? I don't talk to him like this. It's kind of like it has to be broken English, but I asked him, like, why do you only play once a year? And he said, because my client loves to play there once a year.
That's why you got it.
And so if he broke down even the math for me, right? It's like 150, 200 to join. I don't know exact number. Around that, right?
Yeah, I think it's like 200.
200, and then probably similar monthly rate of like 2,500 to $3,000. Yeah. But that one deal that he gets with that guy is way more than what that is.
Exactly.
So I'm like, that's how it's next level stuff. Like, I feel like that's something you would do.
Yeah, it's totally something I would do if the ROI makes sense. Right.
100%.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, if someone wants something that's not attainable, but you can help them get it, why not? Right?
I have another buddy that does the same thing at Bighorn. You know Bighorn?
Yeah.
In Palm Springs, Palm Desert? He does the same thing. He worked with somebody in Sony. And he's like, yeah, man, like, in order to keep he lives in LA. So he goes down there once a month to keep a relationship alive with a higher up in Sony. And I'm like, dude,
But that's golf, man.
I need to get
golf
there,
is
man.
like that.
I need to get there.
So if your business does business with other types of clients that like golfing, and like I was saying earlier, like golf is a very interesting sport because you can enjoy golf at a cheap muni that's like $20 a round, or you can go to somewhere like super elite and pay hundreds of thousands to get in and maintain like thousands of dollars for maintenance, right? Like on a monthly basis. And you're playing the same game.
Right.
Different crowd, different people, different network. And the whole, our premise of our podcast is like drive and thrive. It's like, okay, how do you but even in the cheap environment of munis or like really expensive, you can still do business together with people.
Hey, you know what's crazy is I'll play a random time at Brookside, and I play with a guy that's a VC, and he like big time VC. Brookside, dude was wearing a random hoodie, had a decent game, and like we didn't even say anything to each other for 3 holes. Yeah. We come to find out we have mutual
friends. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, he's like, yeah, I'm a VC. I've been a VC. I was with Google, Amazon. I'm like, are you serious? I look him up, and he's like crazy legit. Yeah. But it was an afternoon at Brookside. I was playing with a buddy, and just randomly paired up. So I think there's two different worlds. I
Yeah.
think there's those people that are higher up that are in that country club setting that knows, everything that's going on. And then you have the same person, but at the public course that's just getting into the game that doesn't know anything.
Yeah, because they don't want to spend the money because they don't know.
Exactly.
I have a funny story about Brookside too, and go Dodgers because they won the World Series this year.
Yep.
I went to Brookside long time ago, maybe 20 years ago, and 15, 20 years ago, and it was an afternoon, and I was playing with two guys. One guy was a postman delivery guy, and his friend. His friend didn't speak English, and he looked familiar, and he was playing golf really well, but I was like, wearing a hat. I was like, he's somebody, right? So then my friends, I was like, hey, who's the guy that you brought? Like, you guys are playing together, riding the cart together. He's like, oh, that's Fernando Venezuela.
Oh, my goodness.
And I went to play, I got matched up with this twosome. It was just three of us playing at Brookside, and it was Fernando Venezuela. And I was like, bro, you're like the Dodger legend, the pitcher,
That's so
right?
crazy.
And so it's weird because he didn't really speak English, but he was whacking that ball so far. And I was like, dude, this is crazy.
Legend.
Dude, and then when would I ever meet him playing around the golf?
Yeah.
Just randomly.
Never.
Never.
So I have another similar story to that. Not as cool, but Fernando Venezuela is crazy. I played Angeles National when they never had a clubhouse. It was like literally a trailer.
Oh, yeah,
park.
I remember that.
Yeah, it was like a trailer, right? So I'm young. I think I was like 12 or 13. I'm playing with my coach. So it's just us two. We're playing golf. Two really big buff black dudes, just super nice, super cool guys. I'm not thinking anything of it. After the round, they're like, oh my goodness, I can't play with them. And I'm like, who's them? Like, what are you talking about? He said, you played with Eric Dickerson and Marcus Allen.
Oh, damn.
I was like, who's that? I
You
still
didn't
didn't know
Oh, yeah.
when they said that.
Yeah.
Then I did my research. I'm like, these guys
Yeah,
are NFL legends, Hall of
yeah.
Famers.
Hall of Famers.
And the nicest guys. Super
Yeah.
in shape. I think they were probably almost 50 at the time or 50s.
Yeah.
Still in incredible shape. But
Well, a lot of different pro athletes from different sports, when they retire, or even when they're playing their sport, they still play golf. Like Steph Curry, Austin Reeves.
Austin Reeves, Steph Curry. Baseball is I see so many baseball players, hockey players.
Yep.
Yeah, it's insane. Golf is such a good hub for a lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of athletes.
So I know last time, 2 weeks ago, I was in Pebble Beach. This week, I just got back from another golf trip. I got back from Hilton Head in South Carolina, and we played 4 rounds of golf. One at Harbor Town where they play the RBC Heritage, and then the other 3 played at the Palmetto Dunes Golf Resort. They have the Arthur Hills, Robert Trent Jones, and George Fazio course. So we played all 3. And it's the guys in my company. So we did the whole 2 rounds of scramble, 2 rounds of individual. You shoot your under, you get a bonus, cash bonus, and we have all these crazy bonuses and stuff. And so it was good times, man. And we rented a house that's right on the beach in the resort. So all the golf courses were about 1 to 3 miles away, and so it was quick. We played amazing golf. It was like a pretty epic trip because it's the guys, and it was fun, and we played so much golf.
The pictures and videos is
And
crazy
I'll post. I'll give you guys. I'll give my editors post the video of the house and the course and stuff. But it's super nice. It's,
oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It's a top 100 course, no?
In Harbor Town might be a top 100 course, but it was it felt like I was playing at Augusta. I never played Augusta yet, but it felt like Augusta.
Yeah.
Tree line, greens were super, grass was super green. It felt like a fake course, and the vibe was great, and the weather was perfect, and we teed off at Harbor Town around 12:30, and we were the last group out.
That's crazy.
So they didn't let anyone out. So they were no
insane.
pressure, just have fun, and we had some caddies, and it was great.
What was that? How long did it take you to finish the round? You were the last group. I mean, you obviously wanted to take your time because there was no rush.
I think we played in 3.5 hours.
That's amazing. That's perfect. 3.5 hours is perfect time. I wish it was always like that, but it's not, obviously.
Yeah.
3.5 hours. That's crazy.
And then at the George Fazio courses, we were pretty much always the first one out. And it was, we played morning round. It was around 7:30. And we finished the round in like 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Oh my God. So did you play more than 18 or no?
We played 2 rounds a day.
Oh my goodness. See, you guys, Sam's just living the dream. You hear all this? You're going to see all these pictures and videos. But I mean, it's what you get when you work hard. You know, you get to do all those fun things. I'm trying to get there, but you know, I'm still playing Wilson and Harding right now. But, you know, we'll get there. We'll get there. Whatchamacallit? I remember my buddy telling me on PGA Tour that's one of his favorite spots.
Yeah.
The RBC Heritage.
I can see why.
Yeah.
And it was reasonably priced because, you know, Pebble Beach was so expensive.
Yeah.
Harbor Town was around $350 a person, which is on par with high-end courses in America that's public.
Right. Like Trump is $350 at least.
Yeah, even like here, right? At Trump National.
Yeah, so obviously you're like, this is way better.
Oh, yeah. I would rather play Harbor Town than Trump. And it's just a scenic, like Trump is all ocean view, which is nice, but it's just kind of like back and forth.
Right.
Whereas Harbor Town was like tree line, different like personality.
Right.
So it was pretty cool.
So actually there's a topic I wanted to talk to you about. So we're going to switch topics right now. I wanted to get Sam's input on this. Me personally, right? Like we have different brands in different areas, but it's all the same essentially. I'm seeing content creators and content creation changing.
Okay.
Right? Like I think the last 5 years has been a certain way. Golf always has been a little bit behind. With what you do in the advertisement space, I know you're not really scouting content creators, right? But you're very attentive to seeing content creation. What do you see any parallels, or do you see anything that's you can forecast what's happening with content creators? Because I have my opinion, but I wanted to get to know what you're thinking on it.
Well, I think content creators is a little different because, like, I would say even 15 years ago, all the brands use celebrities. They use athletes, they use movie stars, they use musicians, and they were like pushing them as a brand, right? Oh, look, Beyonce likes this drink.
Right.
Hey, Jay-Z likes this drink. Right. Oh, Michael Jordan likes these shoes or whatever, right? These days, the celebrities are influencers, right. The content creators, right? Because at the end of the day, you spend millions of dollars on these celebrities and you get some ROI on certain ads or certain products. But these days with social media, using influencers and doing it based on performance based, because when you do magazine ads, you do billboard ads, you do TV commercials, you don't really collect the full data. But with social media and digital content, you can know right away who your audience is, how many people are looking at it, what your CPM is. If you're selling a product or promoting something, you know exactly what you're getting in return, right? So for a brand, and let's say I want to use an influencer with 100,000 followers because we want to sell golf shoes or golf balls or whatever it is. So I'm not going to go to a random person who's a celebrity that like is a movie star and they want millions of dollars. Right. We go and specialize in, let's say, someone like you who has a follower of certain type of genre of golf viewerships, right? So if I'm selling higher end stuff, like I'm trying to sell membership to Riv, then I'm not going to go to your following. I might go to someone who follows like Lamborghini, Ferrari, or like some type of upscale person that we know that is into that. Right. But let's say we're selling, and we just talked about this before, like let's say we're selling little products that can help a golfer be a better golfer, and the price point is like sub $50. And it's someone that like you are a golf pro, content creator, and instructor, right? And so you may have a product that we can sell that you can make money off of, but at the same time, it's helping your audience become a better golfer,
Right.
and you create different types of content
Right.
that shows like, hey, this can influence you
Right.
to be a better golfer, right? But I see a lot of golf content these days where it's just like, oh, how to hit the ball and how to do this and how to
Right.
do your grip. And it's like, yeah, there's an audience for it. People are looking at how to do it. But I think these days it's more about the culture, the products that can help people, and just the brand itself of like, how do you push the golf culture forward to your audience?
Right.
And so I think it all depends on who your followers are, right?
Right.
And your audiences.
I hope you guys are listening. This is advertisement 101 right here. All right. This is key. This is jewels. To piggyback off what you just, all of that, I think you're 100% right. And I think one point you made about like the analytics, like the insights, it's so crazy because I can tell you my insights, right? I'm 80% is ages 18 to 40. That's my audience, right? 85% male, 15% women. I think it's now 80% male, 20% women, females. My viewers are at 7 p.m. They like to be at night watching my content for some reason. So knowing all this is so valuable for a company, right? Like you said, they don't get all the data when
you don't get it.
Yeah, you put a commercial out, like how do you even track all that data? Unless they actually make a call to action, right? But the reason why I want to talk to you about this is because, entering 2025, I always have a blueprint, a plan for myself on what I need to do with my business and content creation. I'm noticing that with the algorithm of Instagram, it's followed a lot of what TikTok has done.
Yeah.
And so now I feel like followers don't matter.
Right.
Take that back. It's not that followers don't matter. It doesn't matter how many followers you get up to. It doesn't matter how many views you get up to.
Yeah.
I think what's more important now is what compelling story are you telling? And essentially bringing value to your follower and selling them something, right? Like for me personally, obviously I make sleeves and not everyone loves sleeves,
right?
But I'm talking to the person that loves sleeves. I tell them a compelling story by saying, hey, I got this PGA Tour guy wearing the sleeves.
Right.
He protects his skin because he's had a problem with his skin.
Right.
And boom, there's a sale. I think so many content creators I talk to, they're chasing still the followers and the views. That doesn't really equate to anything. Unless you don't care about making money.
Yeah.
But if you're just chasing the views and the followers, it's not going to get you anything.
Right, right.
Like I personally can tell you, I'm making more money than like people that have 500,000 followers.
Right.
But I think it's because certain people don't know how to navigate and how to bring value in.
Right, right.
I mean, I don't know if you've seen that because you've been in the advertisement game for way before social media has come around.
Right.
Do you see any parallels with when it was shifting when you were doing it? Because yours were billboards, commercials.
Yeah, because I started back in the day
Right.
doing TV commercials and billboards and print ads, right? And postcards and mailers. And like you said, even at that time, we were pretty advanced in analytics and targeting because we did have very good call to action and tracking. So in real time, we would know, like, if we ran a TV, we would run, like, for instance, the same commercial, but with maybe a black person and a white person, male or female, and every little changes in the creative differences, we would have a separate toll-free number.
Is that an A/B testing kind of?
Yeah, A/B testing model. So, like, when we would get certain numbers, we can pull up a report and say, oh, this toll-free number got way more audience, like, attention, and phone calls would drive whatever it is. So then we'll know, okay, let's pull these other creatives and use that creative and launch more so that we're not wasting time and money on paid commercials, right? So then we would do the same thing with mailers and emails. So emails would be the same thing where we would send different types of email creatives. Let's say do a test of like 100,000 emails here, 100,000 emails here, and different creatives and see what works better. And then for the rest of the remainder 200,000 to 300,000, different kind of mails, it would drive higher conversion
Right.
on those things, right? Yeah.
So that's crazy.
But data and analytics and marketing is key, because back in the day when it was just purely, they say, oh, it's branding, and they spend so much money on just like the billboards and the TV commercials with just brands, you really didn't know what you're getting for that money. But these days with the digital analytics, you can find out so much,
Yeah.
you know. And so even if a brand came to you and said, hey, I want to be a sponsor for you for XYZ, I want to pay you, but then you say, okay, I want $1 million. And they're like, well, let's look at your analytics.
Right.
If your analytics doesn't show that their value is not worth $1 million, because they can always, you know, backtrack what your value is to them,
Yeah.
then they can't pay you. So it's hard to negotiate unless you really know your audience, your data, and what you're bringing to the table.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is my next question then. So for me, right? Because I'm pretty much, when I started getting into business, it was all social media.
Yeah.
I actually, another story with my dad.
Yeah.
This is actually another story with my dad that has nothing to do with golf, because, you know, he always challenged me. So I'll never forget this. During COVID, I went to China and Korea with my dad.
Okay.
And my dad took me to Yiwu because I told my dad, hey, Dad, I want to follow you this time. And I just stopped competing. So he takes me to Yiwu, 10,000 shops in this one
Yeah.
50-story building.
Yeah.
And every storefront is either, you know, there's a houseware, kitchenware, goods section where my dad went, and I went to the accessory sports section. At that time, it was portable treadmills, massage guns, blah, blah, blah. And when I went, my dad was like, what are you going to do? What is your goal? Like, what do you think you're going to do with business? I'm like, I'm going to just focus on Instagram. And my dad's like, are you crazy? What does that even mean? And I'm like,
Well, especially like an old Asian guy who doesn't know anything about what's going on in the digital world, who's doing wholesaling.
Wholesale. And you know what the problem was, though? I didn't even know. I just knew I needed to be there.
Right.
I needed to be in social media. I just didn't know. I didn't know why. But I just told my dad, trust me. And anyway,
Yeah.
we go and we do whatchamacallit. The shift that I saw recently is with the algorithm, because the change went from growth to like I feel like it's going into community base. Because algorithm with Instagram used to be easy to grow, get views, all your following sees it. Now, you know, you do a post or a reel, you don't even know if 100 of your friends see it.
Right.
So because that's changed and it's all in the Explorer page now, the reel section, that's why I think it's more important now to really bring value to a core group of audience, which is going to be maybe 1 to 2% of your following. It's not going to be not even 10%.
Right.
To see a 10% engagement rate with your following is actually absurd. I think the average is 6.
Yeah.
They say 7 is good.
I think it's less than that, but yeah.
You're right. I think they say 6, 7 is good, and then the average is like 3.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's why I'm curious, because did you see any shift like that when you were doing your thing, you knew what was working, and then you're like, oh, this doesn't work anymore? Did you ever run into that?
Yeah. So, you know, Facebook, if you go down the past like 2-3 years, Facebook has changed, because we did a lot of our advertising on Facebook and Instagram, and they keep having to change the way that they work their platform because of privacy issues.
Like the iOS. I remember iOS, they had to stop tracking.
And so we were like killing it. I forgot which year. It's like 2019 through 2021-ish. It was like killing it. And then there was like some change and shift in the policies in 2021 or 2022. Then it got a lot harder, and we were spending double the money to get the same results. So our profit margins were smaller. And then you had to figure out different methods. And so we kind of diverted and kind of went off to different platforms as well. We did Snap, we did Spotify, we did YouTube, we did Google search, we did, and then we started doing TikTok recently.
Okay.
But and it's still a little tough for TikTok for us because they have regulations and policies where you can't do certain things. And because one of our businesses in legal marketing, a lot of it has to do with like certain type of drugs or diagnosis or cancer treatment, and certain things are not allowed to be said on TikTok.
Yeah.
Or promote it, so it's hard to do it. Or like if we have products like CBD products, they don't let certain type of CBD or THC or certain products on there, or like even if it's doctor made formulated product that has CBD, they don't allow it.
Is that advertising or is that regular person posting that can't do it, or all the above?
I think it's all the above.
Really?
Or I think a person can talk about it, but you can't have a link to sell it then.
Got you.
Yeah.
It's kind of, okay, I got you. Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah. So like your business is real simple because most of it is golf content, golf products.
Right.
There's really no regulations.
Right.
I'm kind of in that gray area of like health, cancer, pharma. And even though there should be freedom of expression and freedom of speech, they're still obviously regulated.
Yeah.
And, the government / media still wants to protect, the big people.
Yeah.
Because it's big business. Yeah.
Would you say Facebook has been your number one leading, like, for advertisement though?
I would say in the last 5-6 years, Facebook, Instagram is probably the heaviest media channel that we've used. We spent probably over $100 million on Facebook.
That's crazy. Because but also it's really not surprising because even me, I learned how to do Facebook ads in 2019 and then really executed it when I got the loans.
Yeah.
COVID.
Yep.
Because, obviously you could use it for payroll, marketing and all that. And I used it for Facebook ads because I learned it. And like you said, 2021, still to this day, it was in 2021, I had my best month. I had a really good month.
Yeah.
And my cost per purchase was, I had an ad running. Cost per purchase was $5.80.
Yeah.
Once the iOS came up, went to $17.
Yeah.
Cost per purchase, and I had to stop.
Yeah.
Because it was like,
it's hard.
$17.
But you can figure it out and how to overcome the differences in the way that it works.
Yeah.
And you can still make it work. Maybe not as cheap as it used to be, but you can still play around with the formulas and audience targeting and things like that to make it work.
Yeah. It's so crazy the amount of information that you actually have access to.
Yeah.
Like, I just remember even like, I don't think they even allow it anymore. But back then they allowed that you could see a certain neighborhood's average income. And then you can obviously choose the region, you choose the age.
Yeah.
And then and then what's crazy is you accumulate enough data and you can make a lookalike audience, which is, spread out from 1% to 6%. And then you can go global. You can go.
It's crazy. And then you can go into their hobbies. Yeah. You can get into what kind of cars they own.
Yeah.
You can get into the house they own or if they rent.
Sam, tell me if this is I feel like this would be around, because I haven't done ads in a year and a half. I really have gone organic. I'm going to get back into it.
Yeah.
But is there a section now where like you can AI it? Is there any AI section where you could do in the ads?
I'm sure. Okay, so we do use AI to create ads too. So we'll say, because AI is only good as what you can instruct it, right? So if you say
with you have to be to the T too, right?
Yeah. And like I know our CMO, he even goes into details of the certain type of ad theories and say, hey, make this into this audience. This is the product that we're selling. This is what we're trying to do. Give me an image of the ad, plus give me the copy for it, plus please add the target audience of, let's say, urban audience with the colors and all these different things, and add a certain marketing theory into this ad.
Right.
And so the more eccentric you can get in detail into the instructions for AI, like ChatGPT or whatever platform you use, you can come up with some pretty unique things.
Right. No, it's crazy because even with, I think one of the most effective things for me, what I was doing was when you have an abandoned checkout.
Yeah.
Like, you know how you could tell on your store there's abandoned checkouts.
Yeah.
And you retarget.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much like you literally see, like, I'll go through my website and I'll be like, oh wow, today there was like 30 abandoned checkouts.
Yeah.
And then I retarget and say, hey, you know what? I'll give them a 15% discount
Yeah.
because I just want to retarget them. Because some people that like have $200 and they abandon. I'm like, yo, I'll make it 185 for you or 150, and then Facebook does that because it's an average of 6-7 times, right? The person has to see an ad to act on it.
I don't know the exact number, but it's a lot of like repeat branding. And I used to do what I back in early 2000, what I was known to do to help companies is to save a sale, what you just mentioned.
Save a sale?
I call it a save a sale.
What company?
So no. So that was my like terminology.
Oh, got you.
So after I stopped working for the call center that we built up to 20,000 employees, went public, and then I was like, try to figure something out, right? And I started doing consulting work for mid-sized companies, and especially in the call center world that were selling products or whatnot, right, or services. And the biggest, I would go in there and my pitch to them would be like, hey, you pay me based on my performance. So you give me a small monthly like retainer, and it was something like 10 grand a month. But what I got paid on extra was if I increase your sales from what you're currently doing without costing you any more money, I get a percentage of the increase, right? So I started.
Did you have to put that in there, or did they offer that? You had to.
I did. I said it. That was my pitch. So I was like, hey, that's cheap. Like, you only pay me more if you get something out of it. So a lot of times I would turn companies that are in their $30 to $50 million range, and then I would implement these new things that didn't cost them extra money. And they would be, in 18 months, they would do tenfold. So they would be at $300 million.
So tell me, okay, this is crazy. So tell me why, number one, why do you have that confidence? But number two, what's the number one thing that you dive into?
So I learned early on that data was the most important thing. Yeah. So why I was confident in myself, because I knew every company suffered from the same thing, which was abandoned carts or people who wanted to cancel like products, right? So for instance, back in the day, and it's not as like popular now, but they used to have auto ships. So on products. So if you bought a product, let's say a weight loss product, and you bought it for $49.99, you would be in this auto ship until you cancel. So they'll charge you $39 or $49, whatever the cost is every month, and you get product. Right. And so people don't take it, they cancel, and then now they want to return it, right? So one of the methods that I used was to save a sale. So you have the same people, let's say they had 30 employees in the customer service department that were taking calls to cancel a product. Right. So they considered that department an expense. So most companies had a certain expense and it cost me $30,000 a month to cancel products and people are canceling. I said, well, I'm going to turn that department into a profit center. They're like, how? I said, how many products do you sell besides this one diet product? Oh, we probably have like 10 to 20 different products. Okay, great. What type of products are they? They all range from weight loss to skin and wellness and different types of vitamins or products or whatever, right? So I say, great. I'm going to help you create this discount club membership. I said, how much is your product? A lot of times our product's somewhere between $5 to $6. You're selling it for $39. So if someone cancels, then you're losing money. So I said, what is your current lifetime value of a customer and they'll say, oh, it's like $60. So 2 times and they cancel.
Right.
Okay, great. I'm going to increase that. So now we created this website for $19.99 or $29.99 a month. These people can go in and self-manage products. So I said, keep getting products. So instead of 20 products, let's get 50 products in different categories. So when someone calls in to cancel for their product they paid $39 for, we say, oh, great, we can cancel you, but how about we put you into this 29 lower program and you have access to 1 product a month in these different types of categories. Right. And they're like, oh, cool, let me try that.
Right.
So now I'm teaching these agents, instead of just taking orders to cancel, I'm teaching them how to resell products. A membership that's cheaper, that brings value into their life. For instance, oh, that dye product didn't work for you? Great, I understand that. I'll take you off. But we have a host of 50 different products that can help your wellness, get your teeth whiter, try different formulary of whey products, or whatever it is. And they're like, okay, I'll try it. So if you convert 30% of the people calling in into the membership, and they're like, oh, this didn't work, so let me change the product. Oh, this didn't work, let me change the product. The lifetime value went from $60 of a customer coming in to $180.
That's crazy.
So
that's triple.
That's, dude, the triple.
Triple.
So now imagine doing that over number of clients that they have, and your lifetime value average is 180 instead of 60. I increased their business by 3-fold.
That's so crazy. I mean, there's one word that I keep thinking of out of this all talk is psychology.
Yeah, it's psychology.
It's psychology.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, not directly like that, but I remember when I first came out with the sleeves, it was individually sold, and I was like, why don't I sell it as a 3-pack and see what happens?
Right.
And the 3-pack was the most selling one, but like, I guess I'm not gonna say this on camera. This is gonna be cut out actually, but no, yes, it's for sure psychology, because at the end of the day, that person signing up and buying that product, I always think that they just showed you that their interest is there.
Yeah.
Their interest is not there anymore because
Right.
maybe they weren't felt special.
Right.
How do you make them feel special and not feel like they're getting had?
Yeah.
Because to me, that's always my mindset. Is like, I don't want my customer ever to feel like they got had.
Yeah.
We all could win.
Right.
So I think that's what you were doing, right? It's like, hey, like, you already signed up for $39.99.
Yeah.
Here, I'll give you a $29.99. Is there anything you like here?
Yeah.
Like, let's keep you in
At
the
the
room.
end of the day, you're selling hope, right? Especially for products, because if you're selling, why did that person? So you have to understand, why did that person buy that diet pill? They want to lose weight. So that means they care about their image, they care about their health, they care about like bettering themselves, right?
Right.
So then if you offer more products to better the image, better their self,
Right.
then they're gonna want to do it because it's only $29.99.
Right.
So even if you made a small amount, like your salary is small,
Right.
you can still afford to spend $30 a month to try to see if something works, right? So like it's the psychology part of understanding the sales methodology.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, there's a sunscreen company that I collab with, right? And I took a risk by saying this, but they wanted to buy like 50 sleeves, and I'm like, you guys, are you gonna resell it? And they're like, yes. I'm like, well, what are you gonna do with 50 sleeves?
Yeah.
Like, what are you gonna make from that? Buy 500.
Yeah.
It's lower cost for you. You're a sunscreen company.
Yeah.
Your database is all people that care about their skin.
Right.
So if you're selling a sun sleeve that has my logo on it, which I've done a lot of work on marketing, it'll sell.
Right.
1 week goes by, he's like, hey, we sold 200 in 1 week.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I know. I bet.
Yeah.
So now this client has turned into, the past couple of years, 1,500 pairs every year.
Yeah.
And my mindset going to 25 is like, I need 100 of those people.
Right.
I need 100 people, clients that we can both bring value.
Right.
And another thing I was thinking this morning, I was actually gonna talk to you about off camera, but I'll just say it on camera. I think one decision I made that was good was I didn't skimp on quality of the sleeves.
Yeah.
I could have gone to China and made it way cheaper.
Yeah.
But I'm paying 4 times
What
the
you could have paid.
what I could have paid to make it in Korea.
Yeah.
But I'm realizing because we're in this space of collabing,
Yeah.
when when that company sees me and they're like,
Yeah.
hey, like how much should we sell MSRP? I said, well, if I throw your logo on
Yeah.
and my logo's on there, you can sell it for $4 or $5 more than what I'm selling it for.
Yeah.
Because it's a special collab.
Right.
So instead of them trying to get their cheap own from
Right.
China or whatever,
Right.
they're actually going to make more from the branding side that I did. And I realized like, oh, that was a good move. What do you think about that?
I mean, I think that's a good way of doing collabs because let's say like a high-end brand wants to sell the same type of product, but it's cheaper, then they're not going to get the same. It's like putting like a Gucci logo on a Walmart product.
Right.
It's like, it doesn't
It's
really
not gonna work.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if you work with higher end collab people, like
Yeah.
companies curating brands, it's like you have to find that same match of type of
Right.
product level.
Has to align
Yeah, this
the
has to
same way.
align. Like for instance, like you can't put in like, oh, I'm gonna go work with Lamborghini and then go do a collab together with a Honda,
Yeah.
and it's like different. It's like not the same.
It's so funny because I love watching this guy named Dame Dash. I don't know if you know who that is.
I don't think so.
So Dame Dash started Rockefeller Records with Jay-Z and a guy named Biggs.
Okay.
And he said in a podcast recently, and I was laughing. He said Jay-Z's business partner growing up, when he was at the height of his career, and he was in his rap music videos rapping about Cristal, his business manager got him a deal with Budweiser.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you getting him a deal with Budweiser
Right.
when he's rapping about Cristal and Remy Martin?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Right.
And of course, what happened, it didn't do well.
Right.
So, I mean, I really pay attention to those things too. I'm really learning. And, I think like I'm doing a collab soon with Vessel Golf, shout out to Vessel. Premium bag. But again, they're in the tennis, pickleball, golf space.
Right.
And if someone's buying a golf bag and you're in the sun, there's going to be a big percentage of that audience that's going
Right.
to probably try to protect their skin.
Right.
Right. So,
But also Vessel, because you've seen all our bags. We
Right.
use a lot of Vessel products
Yeah.
in bags in our office because we can customize it.
Mm-hmm.
But like their quality is good.
Quality bags,
for
yeah.
the most of the part. Like
Yeah.
and all their products are nice. So
Right.
if you are collabing with them, they also want to collab with a company that their product's not going to just rip or
Mm-hmm. Right.
like and I've used your sleeves.
right.
And I can wash it and use it and still be okay.
Right.
Whereas like cheaper sleeves I've used in the past,
Right.
it's the usage is not as good. It doesn't last long.
Do you know what's crazy is he's gonna be watching this. Watch. I'm not gonna name his name, but he is a head of retail. He came to get a lesson with me, but I
Okay.
didn't know what he did. He just literally IG'd me,
Yeah.
and I think his profile pic was like a cat.
Okay.
So there's no bio about
Yeah.
him. I'm like, hey, come by, get a lesson.
Yeah.
Super nice guy.
Yeah.
Our third lesson, I'm like, hey man, are you a painter? Like I was trying to
thought he was a
guess.
painter?
Yeah, I didn't want to be rude the first
He was a
time.
painter.
And he's like, no, man, I'm director of. This guy says, dude, I found out about you because I bought your sleeves. And I was like, no way. He's like, yeah, your sleeves are better. I'm like, that's a validation, right?
Yeah.
And he's saying like, yeah, a lot of sleeve companies, they use too thick of a material and they use like a non-slippage sticky pad, and like that gives him rashes.
Okay.
So I'm like, all right, well, we got something here. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
But I mean, I think for you, as you're looking into 2025 and you're and we just had kind of our end of the year planning, and we always do end of the year planning and figuring out what to do and like different ways to pivot your business and figuring out better ways or other ways to find income or cash flow. And that's, I think, like for you is like, yeah, you have a product that's already been doing well for a few years. People like it. The right people like it. And now 2 ways to grow it. One way is getting other products to
Supplement.
Complement your target customer audiences.
Right.
And the other way is, okay, let's like work on collaborations with other brands like Vessel or other types of companies and come up with a product that's different.
Right.
Same but different. Maybe it's the design, maybe it's logos, maybe it's colors, maybe packaging, whatever it is. But maybe it's you get a sleeve with a new bag. Maybe you get whatever it is.
Right.
Or one idea is like you buy a bag and you put a little card in there and you QR code it.
Yeah.
And if you bought a Vessel bag, you put in the code and you show proof of purchase of the bag, you get a free sleeve sent to you.
Right.
So when you send a free sleeve, now you're branding yourself to this person who's into golfing.
Right.
You might give one away, but future you can say if you want to re-up on more sleeves because it's now getting old, you can buy it at half price.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's different. So you're giving a free sleeve away, but now you have a customer that may have a higher lifetime value of your product. And then as you get more products into your catalog, then you can keep remarketing to that customer.
Right.
So there's so many different ways to collect. That's why I say, if you can collect data of your audience, like golfers, tennis players, pickleball players, I don't mind giving away a sleeve that costs you $10, $20, whatever it is, because the data is more important for long-term longevity of your business.
And obviously the product that I have didn't cost that.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But that's a
But
marketing.
I'm saying retail part.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
So whether your product costs $5, $3, whatever it is, it's very small amount to get the marketing in to build your database up.
Right.
Yeah.
Dang, what was I gonna just say? I was gonna tell you something. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I've been thinking so much about supplementing products. It's pretty crazy because with the data that I have with obviously my customers, and it's a Sun product, and it's doing well as one item.
Yeah.
Man, my mind goes crazy to think, oh man, if I had 2-3 more items that are equivalent to what I have now, that's just
that's 2 or 3 times more revenue.
That's 2 or 3 times more revenue.
I know. That's why I keep saying.
Man.
So remember what the story I was telling you about the call center agents and products?
Yeah.
Instead of having 5 to 10, have 50, 30, 40, 50 products.
Right.
Because then the more products you have with similar interest things to your same audience, now your revenue can go up.
Right.
The lifetime value.
I always think about, like yesterday, I went to Galleria Market, Korean market. My sole purpose going into that market was to buy meat, like thinly sliced meat, and soju.
Okay.
That was my goal. What did I come out with? I came out with ramen. I came out with gum. I came out with chips. I came out with kimbap.
Yeah.
And why? Because it had it there. It had so many options.
Yeah.
It didn't just have what I wanted. And I think, again, it's like a psychology thing. It's like, if you see something and you're impulsive, you're like, oh, I want that. I need that, actually. I think that's why Amazon's so crazy.
Well, the oldest business I feel like is like that is like drugstores, like CVS. People go to CVS for their drugs, right?
Yeah.
Prescription. When you give them a prescription, they usually take an hour, 30 minutes to an hour, and they should take. Why? Why is a pharmacy so big? Because they go in there, you have to wait. Guess what? You're gonna walk around and buy every little thing that you can go see at each aisle. A pharmacy, because you've seen a local pharmacy that's like 1,500 square feet.
Yeah.
But you have big box pharmacies like CVS or Walgreens that big because guess what? You're going to go in there and buy other stuff.
Me and my wife go to CVS. Like, let's go to CVS. I have to pick up some prescriptions. I'm like, okay, well, I gotta take 1 hour off. Yeah. Because we're going to be in there. We're like looking at makeup, cologne, they got candy. Like, I was like, you're so right. I never thought about CVS like that.
Because that's how so
no wonder
it's supplemental income.
Oh,
because they make a lot of money on drugs.
Yeah.
Okay. Because they're billing the insurance companies. But they're like, why not make more money while we're there and sell products? You got beer, ice cream, candy,
Yeah.
makeup stuff.
Well, person doesn't like
everything.
beer,
Yeah.
candy, and makeup.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's so smart. No, I'm even right now. I'm making a little, those keychains that you put on your golf bag.
Yeah.
I'm making a mini staff bag that you can put your sleeves in.
Oh, nice.
That's like even little things
For
like
packages.
that. Yeah, packaging.
Packaging it so like you can store it somewhere.
Because everyone tells me, all my friends who get my sleeves, they're like, dude, I lose the sleeves like socks.
Yeah.
I'm like, I kind of like that because
Yeah,
you need to buy more.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, dang, I could talk about this stuff forever. I love this stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, but selling product and branding products and growing a business, you have to think about all those things. Mm-hmm. You got to talk about you got to be analytical. You got to talk about the data. You have to learn how to read the data and how to expand from the data you have and learn from it. And then understanding the psychology behind how to sell something better.
Yeah.
So
to my question earlier, your first act was the call center.
Yeah.
Was that the first thing that you thought
thing.
you're like, this place needs to?
So in my early 20s, like I said, I don't know if I was lucky or I was blessed or I was in the right place at the right time, but I was involved with the call center. That was not a standard call center. It was a computer, like chat, email, and all that before the internet was really popular.
Right.
And I was hired as like the 10th or 11th employee, and then I grew from there. So this is like my early 20s.
Okay.
And from there, I learned in the next 2 years how to grow a business because I was part of that business.
You were there from the start.
From the
so
beginning,
you saw it scale up
to 20,000 people and went public and all these crazy things. And I was
went
like,
from 11 to 20,000.
Yeah, in 2 years. 2 years. So it was a crazy time.
That is definitely a blessing. I mean, that doesn't take away from the hard work, but it's definitely a blessing.
I learned a lot. I met a lot of good people and key people. During that time was like 1999, so it was like the .com era.
Yeah.
So I met people in those type of environments where I was able to make money on the .com boom. Google, certain kind of stocks I bought really low and had some money cashed out too. But it's that from there I learned how to be very analytical because the company raised like $200 million at the time in 1999, which is large money. Yeah. And so I learned what not to do and what to do with money raised. And so when I went off and when that business basically migrated all over to the Philippines, I didn't want to move to the Philippines. And so I started consulting for those companies because I gained so much wealth of knowledge.
Right.
I was able to help other companies grow, make money off of that.
Right.
And then eventually do what I was doing for them in my own companies. Yeah.
So what you're pretty much saying is I do the same thing, but I'm a golf coach.
Yeah.
My experience, my knowledge.
Exactly.
And I teach my expertise.
Yeah. And you use the knowledge you have that you've gained so far and use that in a business. And I always say you have to be flexible. Mm-hmm. If you're like narrow-minded and you think this is the only way I can do it forever, like these days you have to be nimble and be able to change. Yeah. Like you said, social media advertising changed so quickly. Yeah. Brands change so quickly. Yeah. Styles and culture change so quickly, right? So long as you can figure out and know how to and when to pivot to changes in business, you'll survive. Like all the guys that's been with me for 15 years, 20 years now, know that we've gone through so many different industries and we've succeeded. Right. The most bizarre thing, and people are like, "How'd you get into that industry?" Right. I don't know. I did research. Right. I tested stuff. It worked, and then now we have this. If this doesn't work out, we can pivot, research, invest, and A/B test and see what works and what doesn't work. Yeah. And that's why I know no matter how much I make or lose, I'm confident that I can always build it again because I've been through like 7 different industries and became, successful in each one where I've made over hundreds of millions on each of the businesses, know, so I'm not too worried about like getting into an area that I don't know.
Right. Yeah. No, it's crazy because for me, my first journey, I had nobody.
Right.
So my mentor was Gary Vee
Yeah.
on YouTube.
Yeah.
And right when I stopped competing, all I did was work out and listen to Gary Vee's 4D rooms.
Yeah.
So he would, I don't know if you've seen those 4D rooms.
I haven't.
So he'll have a 3-hour YouTube video.
Okay.
And it'll be a 4D room of 20 people, business owners,
Yeah.
or 15 to 20 business owners that pay to be there in New York at Gary Vaynerchuk's office. And this guy will have a dental lab. This guy will have a clothing brand. And they're all asking him questions. And I was just literally acting like I was in that room.
Yeah. Listening.
Like literally every day for 2 years.
Yeah.
Every day I would watch sometimes the same video over again.
Yeah.
And the reason why I did Gary is because I did what you did, research and data. Gary's been historically correct.
Yeah.
In 09 or in 08, no, I'm sorry, in the .com era, he took out an ad for his dad's wine business.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, like, I'm going to go all in on Google SEO and Google Words ads. And everyone's like, you're crazy. No one's going to buy wine online. Yeah. They have to look at it. And he's like, no, trust me. So he started Wine Library, and then he has a VaynerX Media now. And like, was very early on TikTok too. Yeah. So I always try to look at people that are like historically correct too. Yeah. Did you ever do that?
I mean, I look at and read and listen to all types of people. I followed Gary before, and I've listened to him. I don't have one person I like look for information from. I think Gary's a good motivation person. I think he's smart in certain ways he did things. He did like put a lot of, I remember like reading one of his books where he was saying like,
Crush It?
Might be, or
Jab,
another one.
Hook?
But he was like, I read where it was like, oh, Alexa's going to be big. And there's and I'm like, Alexa's kind of dead. It's like not really there. So it's like, I think like you can throw out a lot of things out there that's you can say works, but then obviously the ones people listen to are the ones that did hit.
Yeah,
but
that's
the ones
true.
he didn't hit, he's like, you're not really talking about it. Like,
that's true.
You know what I mean? So I take things with like, oh yeah, let's look at it and why it's good and bad.
Right.
But then there's other areas where it's like maybe good, maybe not good, but take it with a grain of salt. Do your own research, do your own analytics, and figure out what's good for your business.
Alexa really became ChatGPT. It's still typing, but ChatGPT
a little
is
different. But then I remember Gary was saying that Alexa was gonna be able to sell things, and you're gonna buy stuff. And, but TikTok became what Alexa is today.
Yeah. So. TikTok just they leveled up so hard. Like Instagram was staying put and comfortable for too long, I feel like. Yeah. Because now TikTok has really help their influencers monetize more. Yeah. Like Instagram,
it's a different model. A lot of other platforms try to copy what Instagram was doing, just making the same thing. Whereas TikTok came in and was like, oh, we're going to make it a little different. Yeah. And then it just kind of took off. Kind of like how Amazon started as a bookstore.
Right.
And then it pivoted.
Right.
And now it's like sells everything and owns everything and has server, AWS, and all kinds of stuff, right? So it's pivoted into global, like a global business.
Let me ask you a question. There's Wish back in the day. Remember Wish.com?
Yep.
There's Wish.com. There's Temu. There's Shein. There's Amazon, right? Why is Amazon so powerful compared to all these other? Because I thought Wish had potential, especially they got on the Lakers as a sponsor and all this, but I don't know enough. I didn't do enough research to really know why are these companies that are trying to compete against Amazon, right? Because essentially, it's like
because they're trying to be the same thing as Amazon
instead of something different.
Something different. So if you look at them, it's like, oh, why are they different?
Yeah.
I mean, why? It's like the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's different.
I personally, maybe it's because I don't know, but I'm on social media a lot. But I actually look at products and am aware of products more on TikTok than I am on Amazon.
Yeah.
Amazon is just
you go there to look for what you think you need.
Exactly. But TikTok is just
tells you what you need.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy. Because you know what's also crazy? Algorithmically wise, when you watch on TikTok, you're just like, oh my God, this thing knows me.
Yeah.
They take that.
Yeah.
And they know exactly what to throw you with the product.
Yeah.
So if I'm looking at burglaries all day, I'm obviously telling TikTok like, "Dang, this is fascinating to me," but also maybe Sam is a little worried. Maybe he just got robbed, which I did just get robbed a month ago.
And they're gonna start showing you videos of security cameras.
Exactly,
And
which
you're like,
they
oh
have
shoot,
been.
and like, oh, I want to buy this.
Yeah. Hey, here's a Ring camera.
Dude, it works all the time.
So that's why TikTok is genius.
Yeah.
You know, man, that TikTok, you dangerous. You think it's gonna still stick around though?
I
think
Trump,
right one.
I think Trump won, so I think it's gonna stick around.
Yeah. No, TikTok is crazy. TikTok is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah.
I know you have a hard stop today.
Yeah.
It was
So,
a good conversation.
It's a great convo. I learned a lot. Appreciate your time, Sam.
It was fun.
And I hope you guys are tuning into these gems because, if you're trying to start a business, a small business, maybe a side hustle, these are the core. This is the core foundation. These are a lot of things that I went through, and Sam's also telling me things that I'm probably gonna go through. So tap in, especially if you're trying to start a small business.
Yeah, and make comments below, ask questions. We'll try to answer. DM us, and maybe we can do some consulting or help your business if you have a business.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Thank you for another episode of Drive and Thrive.
Peace.
Bye.